What's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about where I'm at on the buprenorphine reduction, the withdrawal symptoms. And you're probably thinking, wow, he looks rough. It's because I am, mate. I'm exhausted. I've had about 4 hours sleep in the last 5 days. I'm fucking knackered, mate. So I'm going to get into that, talk a little bit about that. And I'm also going to talk about things that matter in this life, because I've been feeling a little bit sorry for myself. But, you know, when you look at the bigger picture, and I look at some of the worst times of my life, when I was homeless and I was freezing cold in the streets, it could be worse. It could be a lot worse. And I had a little bit of a sobering moment yesterday. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. But the buprenorphine withdrawals, my mind's a little bit scattered because I'm so tired. But yesterday I didn't feel too bad, if I'm honest. The day before, my head was pounding, all my sinuses were messed up. You know, I just felt ill. And then I went to bed that night. I had about an hour's sleep. I was up the next day, and you know, and I didn't feel too bad yesterday. I was just exhausted. But you know, I didn't have the headache. My emotions were all over the place. But I didn't feel too bad. And then I went to bed last night thinking, I think I've cracked it here. If you're unaware, I'm going from 2 0.4 down to 1 0.4 on the buprenorphine. It's the last little bit, so it really fucking gets you. And I was thinking in bed last night, I thought, well, if I can sleep tonight, I've cracked it, you know, the worst part's behind me. And then I went to sleep about 9 o'clock, you know, I was tossing and turning, but I dropped off. And then I woke up about 10:30, and I was in the full-blown junkie limbo, like, it's horrible. You're so uncomfortable. Your arms are, like, twitching, your legs are twitching, you can't lay still, so you're, like, fucking twitching all night, and you're sweating. 1 minute you're red hot, the next minute you're freezing cold. Then you've got stomach pains. I was like, fucking hell, where's this come from? Do you know what I mean? I thought I was past this, but apparently not. But there's nothing you can do. You just got to ride it out. So that's what I did. I rid it out. I was like that for about 3 hours, and then I managed to fucking fall asleep for about an hour, and I woke up. I thought, fuck it. So I got out, come downstairs. I have been for a run this morning, or it was more of a brisk walk. You know, I just couldn't be arsed. I've not done any free weights. I've not done any shadow boxing. I might go out on my bike later and go and bless a homeless person with a big bag of weed. What I found yesterday. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the buprenorphine thing. And my emotions are all over the place. Absolutely everywhere. And I was nearly crying yesterday. I was watching some... I can't remember what channel it was. I think it was Dr. Insanity. It was one of those like body cam crime channels. So I was watching it, and it was about a couple, and they was getting stalked and harassed by this woman's ex-boyfriend, and he was like messaging them, threatening them, saying, "I'm going to kill both of you. I'm coming for you," and they phoned the police and says, we're getting stalked by this crazy ex-boyfriend. He's going to kill us. And, you know, he was sending nasty messages saying, look at you, you fat cunt, I'm going to kill the pair of you. And then they started taking photos of him going to work and photos of her sat in a front room. And he was sending messages with these pictures saying, I'm going to kill you both, I know where you are. So they're getting all worried about it. So they've gone to the police, and the police couldn't really do that much until something happened, and then the boyfriend or the husband has rang up and says, oh, can you go and check on my wife? I can't get in touch with her, and I'm a little bit worried because we've been getting stalked by her crazy ex-boyfriend, and she's not answering the phone. So can you send someone round? So the police have gone round. This cop has gone, he's knocked on the door, he's had a look round, he couldn't see out, so he's radioed and says, yeah, it's all good here. But he says when he jumped in the car to leave, something felt wrong. Something wasn't right. So he went back, and he pulled his police car up to the garage, and he stood on the bonnet and looked into the garage through the window, and he saw the woman laid on the floor with her head caved in, stabbed up, but he didn't know she was dead. So he's gone running around the front, kicked the door off, and the door was open, so all he had to do was open it. But you know, time was of the essence, so he's booted the door off, he's running, started giving compressions and trying to save her life, but she was already gone. And it was one of those moments. This is what really got me. It was like everything aligned for the wrong reasons. And he was on the radio and he says, back up, we need backup, there's one down. And then he pressed the garage door to open for his comrades to come in, you know, when they get there, for the ambulance, all that. And as the garage doors open, that woman's, who's on the floor, her mother came walking up. And I was like, oh no. You know what I mean? Just as the fucking garage opened, she come walking up. And you know what I mean? If it had been a minute earlier or a minute later, this wouldn't have happened. But it was like everything just fell into place. And she's walked up, the garage door's open, she's looked in, and her daughter's there, dead, on the floor with a copper with her head caved in. And you can see on her face, she's like, you know, she don't know what's happening. She looks in and she can see it, and she's like... and she looked shocked, she looked surprised, she looked scared, all the emotions, and she just like grabbed her face and she was like, ugh. And just imagine that. She's just seen her daughter with her head caved in on the floor, and that's going to traumatise her for the rest of her life. And like I say, a minute either way, it wouldn't have happened. It was just so... And I'm watching this, and the surprise and shock on her face, and the terror and the dread. And I started welling up, my eyes fucking got all watering, my bottom lip was going, I was like, I'm going to fucking cry here. Because, you know, when you're coming off drugs, when you're coming off the buprenorphine, your emotions are all over the place. And I was fucking bawling watching this thing, and I love this sort of stuff, I watch it all the time, but, you know, it's fucking, because it's nearly fucking crying, mate. And anyway, they're saying, right, well, it must be the crazy ex, you know, he's actually done it, he's killed her. So they send a load of coppers to his house, but he's at home, he's drunk, he's got witnesses, he's got an alibi, so it's not him. So they go after the messages and the phone calls and they track it down, and it was her husband. It was him all along, pretending to be a stalker because he wanted to kill her. I don't know if she was leaving him or he wanted the insurance money, I can't remember, but that moment with that woman just walking up just at the right time, just to see her daughter, fucking hell, it got me, you know what I mean? But yeah, emotions are all over the place. And I went out yesterday, I went to town. Have you noticed it's that time of year now where all the pretend nice guys come out? You'll see it all over Facebook. Oh, has anyone got any gloves for the homeless? Has anyone got any socks for the homeless? I'm going to go and give out gloves and socks. Look at me, I'm a nice person. I'm helping these homeless. You know, if you want to do that, then do it in private. That's what I do. I went to town yesterday. I'm going to bless some homeless person today with a big old bag of weed. You know what I mean? That's what they really want. They don't want socks and gloves. They want bags of weed and heroin and cans of beer. That's what they want. So if you're going to bless them in private. And anyway, I did a video yesterday. I was out and about. I had to go and get some money from the cash point. And I was just, I was on my bike, I'd just been to the cash point, I just finished the video, if you saw the video. And as I was riding off, there was a couple of homeless people, and he said something to me, I can't remember what he said, but he, you know, he got my attention, and I stopped. And I said, oh, you alright, bro? And what's up with you? What can I do you with? And he's like, oh, he was mumbling something again, I can't remember what he said, but he stood there, he says, look at me, he says, I'm fucking freezing cold, I'm soaking wet. He says, I'm fucking miserable. And that moment just like transported me back to my coldest night when I was homeless. And I tell you, you think you know cold. If you've got your coat on, you go into the shop and you're shaking, or you come home, the heating's not on, and you're like, oh, it's cold. You don't know cold. I'm going to tell you about cold. It's one of the worst moments of my life when I was homeless. And what we did, it was middle of winter, so it was freezing cold, so we ended up getting a tent. I can't remember if we bought the tent or if somebody gave us it, but I do remember saying to who we got it off, is it waterproof? And he says, yeah, definitely waterproof. So I was like, okay, so we've set up this tent, and we've got in it. I can't remember if it was with my girlfriend or my mate, or there was a couple of us there though, and we was in this tent, and we've got like 50 fucking blankets, had a boot of gear, and usually when you're a heroin addict and you get a chance to sleep, you just crash because you're exhausted, because heroin addiction is a 24-hour job. There's no days off, 24/7. As soon as you wake up, you need money, so you're out grafting, hustling, whatever. And then on a night time, you get a chance to sleep, you'll just crash because you'll be exhausted. So that's what happened. And then like 2 o'clock in the morning, it started fucking throwing it down, and I mean like tropical thunderstorm, raining. and it woke me up. It was that heavy. And I just remember thinking, man, I hope this is fucking waterproof. And it wasn't. It started dripping through. I thought, fuck, it's not waterproof. But I was so exhausted, I just put another blanket over me and just fell asleep. And then like an hour later, I woke up absolutely soaking wet to the bone, drenched. Everything was fucking soaking wet. And, and it was fucking 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Icy, freezing cold, and there's nothing. What can you do? Usually in that situation, maybe like, fucking hell, I better go home. It's too cold, but I ain't got a home. I've got nowhere to go. Where am I gonna go? I ain't got a fucking home. The bookies, you can usually warm up in the bookies, but they're all shut. It's fucking early hours, 4 o'clock in the morning. So we had to sit there in the fucking freezing cold, soaking wet, just shivering. Absolutely freezing. I'll never forget that day. That's the coldest I've ever been. It's the kind of cold what will kill you, if you don't address it. But we couldn't do it. We just had to sit there fucking shaking. And by the pure luck, there was like a bowling place nearby, and it was like a bowling hut. Not like 10-pin bowling, like lawn bowling. And then like a little gathering, they'll go there every morning and have some tea and coffee and do whatever they do. And they walked past and they seen us fucking shivering. And, by just being a nice person, they came over and they says, "Are you all right? You look fucking cold." It was like, "Yeah, freezing." "Well, why don't you go home? We're homeless, we haven't got home." And I can't even remember if it was a couple of old people. I can't remember if it was women or it might have been a man and a woman. And they says, "Well, come with us." And like I said, they had this like bowling hut. And they says, "Come with us and you can come and warm up." And it was like a fucking godsend. I mean, I don't believe in God, but, it was just one of those things, like, just be luck, just pure luck. And niceness, kindness for these people, because they didn't need to help us. And they says, come and warm up. And we've gone into this bowling hut, and they had a fucking fire in there, those portable heaters. They had kettle, biscuits, oh man. And I will never forget walking in, putting that fire on and just warming up. I could feel the warmth now. It was beautiful, it was so nice. And then they made us a cup of tea, and that cup of tea, I can 100% tell you that is the best cup of tea I've ever had. It was so sweet and nice, and we just sat there in front of this fire, drinking this tea, and it was just beautiful, just a beautiful moment. But that is cold, and that's what it reminded me of, seeing this guy. He's like, "I'm freezing cold, I'm soaking wet." And I said, "Listen, bro, I know what you're going through." I said, "I've been there, mate. I've been homeless, I've been a fucking heroin junkie. I know exactly what you're going through." And he said, "Oh, I just need some help." So, I fucking gave him a tenner. And the thing that stuck with me about it was, I pulled a tenner out, and he says, "Are you sure?" And that, to me, that's always a sign that they're a good person, because, they need the money and they really want the money, but they feel bad taking the money, like if he was a knobhead, he'd just snatched it and shot off. But he was like, "Oh, are you sure?" And I said, "Yeah, man, don't worry about it." And he says, "You can ask anybody out here." He says, "I'm one of the nice guys, And it just reminded me of my situation when I was in that fucking miserable place of addiction. And then, anyway, I shook his hand, and I know, like, if that had been me and somebody had done that for me, because I do it all the time, I just can't help it, that I probably made his day. If that had been me, I'd have been, if only for a few hours, a little bit of humanity stored for me, someone being just a little act of kindness. It goes a long way when you're homeless. So that might have booked him up for an hour or two, and that's the thing with these homeless people. I know there's a lot of people out there say, "Oh, I don't want," because some of them are aggressive beggars. They come up, they expect you to give them money. But some of them are genuinely nice people. They're just on hard times. And if you want to help them out, because I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I'm not going to give him money because they'll just buy drugs with it." Well, so what? Let them go and buy drugs, you know what I mean? That'll keep them warm. If they're going to buy alcohol, let them buy alcohol. They don't need food or fucking gloves or socks. You get loads of that shit anyway. You know, if you're going to help a homeless guy, give him a tenner, give him a fucking 4-pack of beer, give him a bag of weed. That's what I'm going to do. That's what they really want. So yeah, and you don't have to film it. I mean, I never film it because I think it was John, what's his name now? Jim Carrey once said, imagine being at your lowest point, homeless, struggling, and somebody comes, sticks a camera in your face and gives you a tenner to make them look like nice people at your, and it is being nice, you know, but you really don't have to film it. And some people, you know, if they do film it, if they agree to it, then I suppose it's okay, but I just choose not to do that sort of thing, you know. And yeah, if you want to help a homeless guy, give him some money. Let him go and buy some drugs. So, you know, it's their fucking life, innit? But yeah, it really hammered it home for me when I was feeling sorry for myself. Like, it could be worse. I could be out there now, could be on the streets now, because I can guarantee you, when you're in bed tonight, just think about this, and I'll leave you with this. There's somebody out there right now in a doorway. There's somebody out there right now who's in a tent. You know, when it's raining and throwing it down, you know, they get fucking soaking wet, they get freezing cold, and they probably ain't got somebody to take them into a nice warm little hut and give them a cup of tea and a biscuit and warm them up. You know, they're fucking on the streets all day, and it's a treacherous life. It's miserable. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. So yeah, just bless a homeless person. And if they want to buy drugs, then fucking let them buy drugs. Restore a little bit of human faith in them, if only for a couple of hours. But anyway, yeah, that's the video for today. And I'm going to continue marching forward. Hopefully I can sleep tonight without the fucking junkie limbo. That surprised me last night. I thought I was past that, you know. I thought maybe I would have got that on the first day. See, my problem is, my plan was, like, I'm going to lower it down over the next month or so. But then I got like 4 days in, and I was just like, fuck this. I'm just going to drop the fucking lot, you know. And so that's what I did, and now I'm suffering for it. But it's, you know, I'm on 0.4 mil now. So my next big challenge is coming up for that. But I'm going to level out first. I'm going to have to prepare myself, because if this is out to go with, I'm going to be in a fucking world of pain. It's going to be miserable. So I'm going to have to prepare myself mentally and physically and give me the best chance that I can. But yeah, I'm too eager. I should have just had a little bit, but I was just, fuck this shit. I'm just have one. I'm suffering now. But anyway, if you like this video, press the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you want to help a fucking homeless guy, you don't have to publicly do it on Facebook. Just do it like I do it, you know, with no cameras, no fucking thingy. But anyway, yeah, bonjour.